Hi everyone. I wanted to give everybody an update about this film that I have been working on now, talking about for quite a while. It seems like for the better part of a year. I don't think it's been that long, but it seems like it. It's called The Cinema Detective. And if you've been following the Low Budget Visions YouTube channel, I know I haven't had a lot of new video updates in the last year, but you've hopefully seen the teaser trailer and then the full trailer for The Cinema Detective. I'm happy to report that the movie is complete. It has been completed for a couple of months now, but I've been waiting for the right opportunity to release it, because something I wanted to do different this time was, rather than just to put it straight onto YouTube, I wanted to give it a little theatrical screening. Very limited, may just be one screening, but nonetheless a screening on a big screen. This is something I want to do for my movies moving forward. It's kind of come out of some of the experiences I've had over the past year with my short film Up and Down, that's been at some film festivals. I can talk about that in a minute. But The Cinema Detective is finished, and I'm happy to report that I do have a world premiere screening set up here in Baltimore on May 2nd. And I'm going to be putting out more details about that soon. If you follow me on Twitter or X at Low Budget Vision, or Instagram at Low Budget Visions, or here on YouTube, I will make sure that information gets out there. So, yeah, The Cinema Detective. I thought before I get into anything else, I should talk a little bit about what this movie is. Now, I don't want to, spoil anything or give away too many details, but I'll just say this. It's a sequel to Forbidden Frames. So if you haven't seen Forbidden Frames yet, if you're interested in The Cinema Detective, I'd say, head over wherever, under the playlist of feature films or whatever, search for it here on YouTube. You can find Forbidden Frames. It's free to watch on YouTube or with a subscription on Indie Nation Network. If you're a subscriber of Indie Nation Network, you can watch it there too. And Forbidden Frames was kind of this dystopian thriller, satire about film censorship, film preservation. The Cinema Detective uses the same. It basically takes place in the same world as that film. The character played by myself, Kevin Quartermain, returns in this one, as does the character of George Kaplan, but with a slight twist. My friend Cullen Gallagher is coming back again to play George Kaplan in this. Unlike Forbidden Frames, though, this one is much more, I would say it's much more essayistic. It's much more of a kind of a film essay / experimental film. We're calling it a metaphysical mystery essay film, which actually alludes to something in the movie itself. But I don't really want to say too much more about it than that for now, because I wanted to wait till it's released and everybody has a chance to see it, and then we can talk about it in some more detail. But so The Cinema Detective, it's another feature-length film. This one's about 80 minutes long, and I do want to say a little bit about how this project got started. So last spring, 2023, I was experimenting with shooting some footage of a dash cam footage from the front of my car, driving around kind of a route that I often drive around, kind of on the weekends, just sort of, if I just kind of go out for a drive, this is a route that I often take. And I decided to film it. I decided to use my smartphone camera, the Google Pixel camera, mounted on a dashboard mount, and to film this route. If nothing else, just kind of for my own memory, my own, for posterity for myself, just as a way of kind of remembering these little drives that I take, in case if I'm ever living somewhere else or just don't have these Saturday nights, free to do things like that, whatever. So it was just a way of recording it for posterity. And I had this footage and I wanted to do something with it. And originally, but I didn't know what. And originally my thought was to maybe take it and make kind of an experimental film out of it, just this driving footage, this seemingly kind of random, aimless route And I had worked with my friend Cullen on a previous experimental film I did called The Man Who Stopped and Stared at the Clouds. There was no real narrative there. It was just the shots of the passing clouds and everything. And he composed a beautiful classical guitar score for that film. So what I thought I would do is, if nothing else, I would release the footage and ask him to do a score for it. And we were all set to go on that, and I think he even began playing around with some ideas. And then I said, hold the phone a minute. I said, I don't think this particular project is the right use for this footage. And I can't, I don't know exactly why I felt that way, but I just thought, I just don't think this is what I want to use this footage for. I said, let's just hold on that, and let me think, and let's see where we can, where the ideas go. So that was back in April, May, I believe, of last year, of 2023. Sometime in the spring. Summer came and went, and I was pretty much still sitting on this footage, and I wasn't spending a lot of time thinking about it, but it was always there in the back of my mind. What could I use it for? And then, as I was thinking, I really, at this point, I don't remember exactly what sparked this idea, but I did have this idea of somebody looking at this footage and trying to figure out what it means, this kind of aimless driving footage. Why is this person filming this footage in the first place? What is it that we're supposed to be seeing? Why are we looking at this? Who is this person filming this footage? And as this kind of mystery element began to unfold in my mind, that's when I got the idea of bringing some things together and doing a kind of a sequel of sorts to Forbidden Frames. Again, using the sort of the same universe of that film, the characters, as sort of renegade film historians or people analyzing this footage and what it could possibly mean, that sort of thing. So anyway, I had the idea of recording it as a conversation between me and Cullen, which we had done before with The Age of Cinema. If you've seen our film The Age of Cinema, we recorded that as a conversation over online, and edited that together. And so I thought, well, we could use that same technique here, because he's based up in Brooklyn and I'm here in Baltimore, and our schedules just wasn't going to really align that we could kind of be in the same place at once. But I figured out a way to make that work to our advantage. I think it gives the conversation a slightly detached, uncanny feel, but we were both filming each other at this, or filming ourselves really, at the same time, simultaneously filming each end of this conversation. And so when it's cut together, it's not like you're looking at it through a webcam connection. It's you're in both spaces simultaneously, but he and I were separated and talking through through an online chat. So out of that grew some other visual ideas borrowed from Forbidden Frames, but kind of expanded and taken to extremes with these projection screens and everything. Kind of I like the idea of these characters in this place called the Image Chamber, swimming in the images of film history. We talked a lot about the old the early Phantom Ride films, where cameras would be mounted on the front of trains or other vehicles going down tracks or streets and recording things. And anyway, I could go on and get into the whole conversation that we get into in the movie, but I will hold that for the film. Suffice it to say, we had a lot of fun shooting this. It was a smooth shoot. Once Colin and I get talking, we're very much on the same wavelength, and we had this outline of what we were going to talk about and hit all those points. Went very well. So that was a little bit about how the movie got made. I think we filmed the conversation itself. Probably it took about 3 hours, 2 or 3 hours total, and then my scenes alone, I think I probably filmed those in about an hour, and then there was the driving footage, which, like I said, I already had, and I was kind of sitting on that, waiting to do something with it. So all these things really came together. That was December 2nd, I believe. December 2nd. It was a Saturday morning, if I recall. We filmed the majority of the movie, and I think even my scenes that kind of bookend the movie, I think I also filmed those later that same day. So it was basically a one-day shoot. Now, the film itself, so then I should mention that after it was cut together, Colin did the music score for it. It's performed under the name Modern Silent Cinema. You'll recognize from Forbidden Frames, the Forbidden Frames soundtrack, and like the Forbidden Frames soundtrack, the Cinema Detective soundtrack is available both on CD and digitally, and I will put the contact information about where you can find it in the description of this video. So the film itself was actually completed by the end of 2023, and by the very end of the year. And I had debated, do I want to release this online again? I mean, I knew I eventually was going to put it online, but I mean, did I want to premiere it online, or did I want to try to set up a screening? I hadn't had any luck with that with Forbidden Frames. Summer of 2022, I was trying to set up screenings of that, and I didn't really get any interest, and I eventually just kind of relented and said, fine, I'll just put it up on YouTube, and that was it. But with this one, I said, I'm really going to hold off. I'm really going to hold off, and I'm going to wait and see what I can set up. Because one of the other things I had done this past year, and I realize now I'm going to probably get into this in another video, but I had a short comedy called Up and Down, which I had shot back at the beginning of 2023, and actually had some success with it, putting it into some festivals. I actually got a couple of nice, a few in-person screenings. I was able to go to 3 of these screenings. Really enjoyed seeing it with an audience. It's a comedy, so it's especially fun to watch it with an audience, to be able to hear the laughter. That's something you don't get on YouTube. When you show these online, you don't get to hear the audience response. So I took Up and Down. I was at the Ocean City Film Festival, Berkeley Springs Film Festival, the Cecil County Independent Film Festival with it, all earlier in Cecil County Independent Film Festival, I think, was November of 23, and then in March of 24, I was in the Ocean City Film Festival and Berkeley Springs Film Festival, which were great experiences. I absolutely, loved being able to see the movie on the big screen, and it really has, just all of this kind of, the cumulative effect of it was, it really convinced me that I wanted to make sure to give the Cinema Detective a chance to be seen on a big screen before it goes online. And that's one of the things I really have taken away from this past year of the festivals and everything, is that I really see the release strategy for me moving forward as being this kind of almost like a hybrid approach of setting up in-person screenings, but also eventually doing the online release. And I think there's no reason that they can't be concurrent either. I don't think, unless you're trying to do like a premiere screening, I don't think that there's really any reason why it has to be, all theatrical in person and then all online. I think you can kind of, blur that a little bit and do both. There's reasons to do both. The advantage with the online release, of course, is that you get it out there as widely as possible, and ultimately that is what I want, for the movie to be seen by as many people as possible. So I'll put it on YouTube. I'd put it on any other platform that I could to get it out there as many places as possible. But first things first, I'm getting ready for this world premiere screening, and I'm excited to share the movie with people. Like I said, it's been now several months since I guess it was December, that I filmed it, and came together. The post-production came together very quickly. It was basically ready by the start of 2024, and now May 2nd, that's the plan. It's that it's finally going to get to be screened. After that, who knows? I think I might try to set up a couple of other screenings, but again, there's no reason why it can't also come to YouTube at that point, and I'll be sure to let everyone know when you can look for that here. In the meantime, I'll be having lots of updates about that, about some other projects. I will just say I am in the still in the planning phase, but I am hoping to have another feature-length film project done for 2024. That's still in the works, but I am working on it, so we'll see what happens. And I'll have some other news here about this Low Budget Visions YouTube channel and some, I think, exciting things that are going to be happening here in the next couple of months. So, check back. Like I said, you can follow me on Twitter. I now have a personal Twitter and Instagram pages. If you search for Matt Barry Film, you'll find those. Those I'm using more for my personal filmmaking updates. Low Budget Visions, I'm kind of sort of taking that back to its original purpose, which is more both as a place to share videos from this channel and part of the general mission of supporting indie film, to talk about other movies out there and filmmakers and kind of do some spotlights on them. So anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back with more updates soon.